So tonight I get to do strawberry jam. We just did raspberry jam a little while ago, and today we're going to do strawberry jam. Strawberry jam is my husband's favorite. Strawberries are his favorite. He could eat them all day, every day. And so I'm going to do the old-fashioned way that my mother, my grandmother, myself, my husband's mom and grandma would make for him. And I've continued that tradition. First, I thought I would show you my little book. So I love YouTube and Pinterest for recipes and directions, but I'm a true believer in writing down recipes because you never know when you might be without power or internet. It can happen. It can. This is one of my precious treasures. In here are recipes that I've been able to collect from my grandmother, my mother, my mother-in-law, dear friends, and these are very valuable little recipes to me. So I keep them in a traditional box right here. And the ones I use the most are my grandmother's recipe for chocolate chip cookies and for banana bread. Those are the ones. Oh, and pumpkin bread. They're very good. I also find that it's really great and so much easier if you can have all your pieces started, the puzzles, all together. So, for instance, I already have the pectin and the sugar. I've got the tools out and the towels, I've got the pans, and then I've got the strawberries behind me. So, are you ready to go? Let's move on over to the sink. And isn't the copper sink gorgeous? I am in love with it for sure. So now it's time to wash the strawberries. Now let's slice some of the berries. Well, all the berries. Take the tops off, save them for the composter. We get to mash the strawberries. These take much more effort than the raspberries. I find I get a really good workout. Now I'm going to add the lemon juice that the recipe calls for, and I will put the recipe in the description below, and then we're going to put it in to cook. And now we add the pectin. And we're going to bring it to a boil that we can't stir down. Okay, it's continuing to boil while I stir it. So it needs to be a boil. I can't stir down. And it's still boiling while I'm stirring. So now it's time to add the sugar. Stirring while I add it. And then as it, just stir as it melts in. And then we have to hit that boil once again that you can't stir down. Set the timer for the 1 minute and then pull it off of the heat as soon as you hit that minute. Always stirring. This part smells so good. So you see this foam here? I like that foam, but some people don't. And you can add a pat of butter to this right now, and that cuts the foam down a little bit. You can also scrape it off, but I think it's the tastiest part. So I always keep the foam in my jam. Just now we're hitting a boil, and I can't stir it down. Alright, so now we're going to set our timer for 1 minute. And just like before, this is the part that needs your most attention. Don't stop stirring. Just keep stirring. $30. 5 seconds, and we're pulling it off. Whew. And look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? And it smells wonderful. so I'm taking my damp cloth with vinegar and wiping down the edges. Also, a nice thing to do also is to put a little vinegar in your water bath water. It helps keep the can in your water canner in good shape. So we just do this, remembering these jars are really hot. Everything's really hot and very sticky, but smells fabulous. Now we're going to put our lids on. Again, when you screw the tops down, make sure they're not too tight, just snug. Okay, so now we're going to load it up. This is a really life-saving tool here because you don't have to touch anything. It keeps you protected from the really hot water and the really hot jars. These kind of grabbers are fine, but really hard to keep it straight up and down. This is made specifically for this purpose. Back to a boil. Set a timer for your own elevation. So our timer is off and it's time to pull the jars out of the big canning pot. Here we go. And now what we're going to do is use our handy dandy tool again and just bring them out and set them on a towel so that they don't hit cold. And you can hear them popping already. They're sealing as I take them out. And if you look closely here, you can see that most of these have sealed down. There's one that's popped up a little bit. There's one. There's one. Looks like all but 3 have already sealed, but we're going to let them sit for 24 hours. If these 3 haven't sealed or popped down, then I'll go ahead and put them in the fridge and use them for something, or I'll pop them in the freezer for use later. So there you go. There's strawberry jam. Strawberry and raspberry jam really are the simplest and easiest jams to make. So to me, they're super enjoyable and lovely and tasty. When I do peach jam next year, I'll take you along. That's a little more complicated, but it's still enjoyable work. I love it. I hope you enjoyed watching these jam videos, and I'll see you next time, probably making lotions again. Bye.